Do you ever ask yourself questions such as, can I climb that mountain? Can I stand on a stage and do public speaking? Can I write a book? Can I build a house? Can I grow an online business? Can I provide a service for the homeless as a volunteer? Can I run a marathon? Is there something on this list that you would like to say yes to but haven't yet? You may have your own list. We all have our goals, right? A big goal that we've always wanted to achieve. But have you felt scared, fearful, unsure or doubtful about your goal? You may have even been told, you're crazy, you can't do that. My name is Donna Campisi. People who know me well would call me a bit of an adventurer, perhaps crazy, or some would say inspiring. I learned a long time ago how to detour and find another way. Instead of asking myself, can I ask myself, how can I? At 7 years of age, I survived a stroke and other serious life-threatening conditions. Doctors told my parents back then that I was lucky to be alive, but I may never walk or talk again. But my parents never told me that. I only found this out later on in life as an adult. I didn't actually know as a child the seriousness and life-threatening announcement that was made. I'm now a hemiplegic with a weakness on the right side of my body. I've improved over time with my ability to talk and walk again with my own special hobble. I learned a long time ago ways to detour and find a new way. By asking myself, how can I? There were days of struggles, determination, needing that extra hand, days of laughter, frustration, then disappointment, sometimes tears, sometimes detours, and baby steps I achieved along the way. This takes me back to a memory of when I was in hospital at rehab at the age of 7. Every day for months and months, I had to work with my physio, Julie, to get back on my feet again. But I had a long way to go if I was able to walk again. Julie was a kind, fun and bubbly woman who motivated me, and I loved going to see her. But there was this one day I didn't want to be there. I'll never forget one challenging day, a real turning point for me. Still unable to walk, Julie picked me up out of the wheelchair and awkwardly placed me on a gym mat on my hands and knees. With my wonky hand and leg trying to balance, it was tricky. Kneeling beside me, supporting my weak body, this particular day, Julie asked me to do a new trick. Donna, today I want you to try to crawl. What you need to do is put one hand forward and the opposite knee forward at the same time. Are you ready? I can't, pleading and thinking this was the most difficult thing that Julie had asked me so far. I'm here to support you, Julie stated. Feeling scared, I just kept saying, I can't, hoping that she would put me back in my safe wheelchair. Donna, I'm here right beside you. You were safe. That day, Julie wasn't fun or bubbly. She was as stubborn as me. Finally, after many attempts to encourage me to move, Julie said these words, Donna, there's no such thing as can't. But I just kept saying, I can't, too afraid. Still not wanting to help me get back in my wheelchair, Julie walked to the door, stating again, Donna, there's no such thing as can't, and walked out of the room, leaving me on my hands and knees, on the gym mat, crying in the room, all by myself. I felt scared and stayed in the same position on my hands and knees, too afraid to move a limb all by myself, shaking with uncontrollable sobs, knowing that Julie was watching me through the little window on the door. I tried so hard to keep my balance and calm down to catch my breath. It was difficult spreading out my fingers out now because my hand was like a claw ever since I had the stroke. Our initial hopeless response to what may seem scary may just be the barrier that stops us from having any success. Are there times where you feel afraid, too scared, and stay in the same position, too afraid to move all by yourself, knowing that others may be watching you through the highs and the lows of your challenge, even trying to keep balance, through your ups and downs and calm down to reach your breath in many difficult times that you may face when reaching for your goal. We all face these challenging times. To you, it may be that you've lost your job due to COVID, or that your excitement for your startup business may have had its challenges to actually start. There are many other challenges out there that you may be facing now. Julie then entered the room again and knelt down beside me, saying in a calm voice, "Donna, I can put you back in the wheelchair, or you can give this crawling a go." What do you think I chose? I attempted to crawl in my own awkward way. This wasn't easy. It was a struggle, my strange, wonky body to balance and my mind to stay focused on the task and not give up. Trying again and again, working out ways to get up from falling, making it happen with determination. Miraculously, my speech came back earlier on from having the stroke, but learning to walk again was not the easiest task. There were many days of trying to walk again, but I sometimes needed to detour and find a new way to help me get back on my feet. This took months and months of working out different methods, what my body could handle at the time, with different equipment and therapy, including occupational therapy, massage, and finding ways of supporting myself, also with a wonky hand and arm, and accepting support from others. This is me back on my feet at the age of 8. We didn't have iPhones back then to take too many photos, and also we didn't have any great hairdos in the 70s either. But Julie gave me a big choice to make that day. That decision feels like one we all may be forced with each day. It may be about moving forward toward your goal. It's an example of finding another way, using strong determination, thinking about your reasons why you want the goal. In difficult times, this will always bring you back to the question of asking yourself, how can I? It hasn't been all smooth sailing for me. I then developed epilepsy after the stroke, then at 14 years of age was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I have foot drop needing the leg brace for my right foot and leg to help with walking to avoid tripping. Even though I still do have a great track record of tripping over with many injuries along the way, but hey, we all trip at times. Then we get back up on our feet again, and even perhaps need to detour to find another way. Now more than ever is an important time where we are forced to detour. Can you find a solution? Perhaps a detour to find a new way. We've even done this today to bring this to you. Instead of asking yourself, can I? Ask yourself, how can I? A few years back, someone asked me, Donna, what can't you do since you had your stroke? Thinking for a while, I was able to do most things in my own way. I replied, running. I've never felt confident to run since I was 7. In 2012, I tried running again after many years from my stroke. A little scared I'd fall flat on my face, but after a few attempts, I made it to 30 wobbly steps. I was excited without falling on my face too. I wondered, could I possibly learn to run again? This was where the seed was planted. I created a goal to learn to run again after 34 years. Could I possibly complete a 4-kilometre fun run? With my excitement and enthusiasm, with all these ideas in my head of how I could encourage others, the goal grew bigger. Now my goal to learn how to run again, by perhaps completing a 4-kilometre fun run, turned into a goal to complete the 2013 Melbourne Marathon. That's 42.2 kilometres. I trained for 11 months and achieved this and raised over $36,000 for a charity close to my heart. It wasn't easy though. Again, there were days of struggles, determination, needing that extra hand, days of laughter, frustration, excitement and disappointment, sometimes tears, sometimes detours, and baby steps I achieved along the way. Have you experienced this too? Make your goals big. Instead of asking yourself, can I? Ask yourself, how can I? Many people say to me, Donna, I couldn't run a marathon. My response is, you could if you really wanted to. If you ask yourself, how can I? If you really wanted to, you would find a way. My message today isn't about talking you into running a marathon. It's about finding ways, needing to detour to achieve your goal. Here's a proud moment at the finish line with my parents who never told me that I may never walk or talk again. Instead, we detoured to find another way. From my original goal of wanting to encourage people with my stroke story, this led to my marathon goal, becoming a published author, an inspiring speaker and podcast host, and an adventurer, helping people face their fears and reach their goals. Don't close your options when following your goals. There are many doors to be open and detours to make along the way. You may be asking me then, how can I achieve my goal? What if I don't know how to start? Do a course, get a mentor or coach. What if I don't have time? We all have 24 hours in a day. Cut out TV or social media. What if I'm not ready? We need to let go of perfection to move forward. Perhaps you could begin with this: believing you can. We all have conditions, right? Physically or mentally. As the awesome Captain Jack Sparrow states, the problem is not the problem is your attitude about the problem. It's about the decisions we can all make. There have been many times I've witnessed this very thing. People facing their fears and asking themselves, how can I? Here's Carmen, who wanted to share her story to help others by becoming a published author and inspiring many people. Here's Chris, who left his stressful corporate job that was affecting his health to follow his passion as a property developer and now spends more time with his family. And Joanna, who found it hard to run a few years back, is now an inspiring ultra-marathon runner. And this has given them further confidence to achieve other goals in their life. What about you? What does your picture look like? What is your goal? You may have more than one. Have you achieved it yet? Your goal may be related to health, finance, career, adventure, holidays, well-being, education, relationships, community service, physical fitness, mindset, the family, the list can go on. Have you only asked yourself, can I? Consider this. Instead of asking yourself, can I? Ask yourself, how can I?